The Connection Gathering. Inspiring hope, health, and healing. Connecting the dots of your story to transform your life. Connect with us on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. The Connection Gathering, live with Jill Reynolds. And today's guest is the amazing Tamara Hunter. Welcome to the show, Tamara.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, we're just blessed to have you on the show, and we want to give you all the time we can today. So we want to just jump right in. And thanks, everyone, for joining us on this kind of a wintry month that we've been experiencing around the country. And so Tamara is going to join us today and share her story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and share with you how that story has evolved in her life with the amazing blessings she's received and how this has transpired her life to do the wonderful ministry and things she's doing around the globe. So jump right in, Tamara, and share with us your story.
Well, thank you for that. I live here in the Ozarks now, and that's why I'm here. Yet, because of the weather and everything that's been going on, I'm here in my home studio. And so, thank you for allowing that. And I have a home studio, which is really interesting if you understand my full story. And thank you for asking for it, because when I was a kid, no one could understand me. I was born with all sorts of issues with my mouth and all sorts of things. And so I was that shy child that would go and run behind a chair or something. And what ended up happening was that I was born. It's amazing how parents can mold us, how they can help us. And not even, if you will, I want to say this in truth, not even the perfect parent, but the perfect parent for that child. And that's what I had. I had that perfect parent. And the mom that basically raised my brother and I as a single mom. And she had her issues. Yet what she did was she always put us first. And she did believe, she was a believer. And when she would be down in the dumps, if you will, and she ended up in some major ones, she always went back to that core belief. And part of it was that it doesn't matter what we're born with. It doesn't matter what our challenges might be, because we all have the gifts. We've been promised them in the good book. We've been promised that we will all be given unique gifts that are such for us, that are like tools if we choose to use them in our hand. But not only our hand, I believe I am a believer, and I believe that I'm a tool in my Heavenly Father's hand. And what it has allowed me to do over the years, because my mom, forgive me, I talk with my hands a lot because my mom taught me when I couldn't talk with my mouth that I could use my hands, put me into dance, put me into piano, put me into other creative outlets so that I could gain, if you will, like an assurance, a respect for myself. And it was
So,
all
Tamara,
about.
Tamara, for the audience to know a little bit more, can you share a little bit about what this uh, I don't want to say handicap, because what you went through, what was it called? Did it have a name to it?
I'm sure it did. We went back to look for records, and the doctors that had diagnosed me and had worked with me, by the time I thought of going back and looking for them, they had retired. Their records were gone. The bottom line is that my jaw placement was wrong when I was born. That I had to have surgery on my gums because I had skin hanging where teeth were supposed to come in. I had what they would call an underbite, but it was more than an underbite. It was because of the jaw being not in the right alignment. It was that it just didn't function correctly. And then on top of it, I had what would be maybe known as a lazy tongue. Um, all of this area was just not inherently built to performance, if you will. Yet it is amazing how our bodies work, and how with a little bit of help from this group and that group, and basically learning, because I would swallow and I would be messy, it was ugly, but thank goodness I didn't look. And there were not, streaming media back then. I'm sure there'd be video somewhere, I could probably
But when
find.
you'd go to school when you'd go to school with children and have lunch periods, it was a lot of shame and embarrassment because of the way you would chew, and the kids would they make fun of you then?
Well, it ended up that by the time I could actually have lunch with kids, some of it it started to be worked with, because
Mhm.
when I was in kindergarten, I had a traumatic experience and I was taken out of school for a while because of health issues. I was pushed into an open sewer. I ended up with very bad hepatitis. I almost died. It was, and that was because kids thought I was awkward, because I was also allergic to the sun and I had no immunities. Basically, I was known as a bubble child before the movie came out with John Travolta. I understood that movie, except I wasn't put in plastic. I was, however, kept away from people, and it's something that, there's different things. I was allergic to the sun. They said I didn't have a pigmentation there. I had problems with anemia from the time I was very little, and I didn't absorb iron, so they couldn't give it to me, pill capsule way. There's all sorts of different things, because it was all sorts of different things. The bottom line, you lump it together. When you're a child, all you know is that you think you're different until you have a mother like mine that let me know I was unique and special, and that, you know, um, that anything and all things were possible, that I didn't have to worry, and that it didn't matter what other people thought of me. Anybody that knows me knows that it doesn't affect me, whatever someone may think, because I have unconditional love. That's what we've been told to have. I have literally unconditional love. However, sometimes I've had to choose to withdraw from someone, but it's not that I don't have unconditional love from them or for them. It's just that I know it's not a healthy relationship for all involved. And we have to make those choices in life. And so all of these things taught me at a very young age some life lessons that I had no idea others didn't learn, because that was my life as a child. And then it goes on, and I wrote about it recently in a chapter book, that because I know I have quite a few books inside of me, then I'm starting to write more. And I've started to share a little bit more as I've been writing each one of these, when I've been invited to write. And so this last one that just went out this last month, I think it was the first time I talked about some of this. And what happened was, there was a period of time, I can only imagine the pressure on my mom, given, and I know she had to defend me quite a few times. Now that I've recovered, like looking back as an adult, looking at her life, you know hats off to my mother, who's now in heaven. However, it it couldn't have been easy. And I had the utmost respect for her. However, she ended up having a nervous breakdown at a certain point. And she had gotten me to a point where I was ready to graduate from high school at 16, because she was having her issues. She needed her space, and she had gotten me to a point where I could fly. And so on the back of a bill, I did find this when I was moving, and it is safely put away. She wrote to my school saying that if I had enough credits, that she would allow me to graduate as soon as I could. And I graduated in full graduation, not having to go to summer school, which was a big deal back then, because let's face it, I couldn't go outside and play. I couldn't do a lot of the things that other kids could do, but I could go to school, and I loved to learn. I'm a self-professed geek. I would spend time in the library because it was a place where I could go. They had a place where they would allow me to sit. I could go over and I could read. I could read all sorts of books. I could do whatever I wanted. And all of these things my mom also taught me about, and I talked about this in the last book. She taught me about vision, and not vision of all sorts, but also when we are gifted vision, which we, if we knock, we can ask. We're told to ask, and we can receive the blessings of the answer. However, not everybody believes it. Not everybody knows this. I knew it at a very young age because I had been through so much. Why wouldn't I believe something like that? So at a very young age, I was taught by not only my mother, but my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather, my mother's parents, that we came from a long line, that if we asked, we could see. And I was taught to see. And so at a very young age, I saw big things. And I thought, that's going to happen soon. I had no idea that the big things I saw when I was a teenager and into my early 20s would take decades to show up. And
Well,
there was a period of time.
let's pause for just 1 second. So, when you
Sure.
were going through this growing up times and having the ability, the amazing ability to get through school at 16, but like
Yeah.
you said, being in a bubble, were you ever in a position then, because you were at school, to be able to form friendships where you could
Oh, yeah.
connect, because this is the connection show, where you could connect and those friends were loving enough, and the parents of those friends, to have the kids come to your home or you go to their home so you could have socialization skills? Were you given that gift?
Oh yes, because one of the things is, as I grew up and as they started to boost me up, I had a doctor back in the day. We lived in an area, one horse town in Southern California, and my doctor would actually come for home visits, and he helped boost my system up with a series of shots. And I started shots way back in the day, like vitamin shots and all sorts of things to help boost my system. And so yes, I was able to have friends, and in fact, my friends became a very big part of. There's even a video of some of them when I went through Impactor. We had to do what was called the hometown video. And some of my friends from way back in the day when we were kids came on. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I still see them in my mind's eye. And some of them were like gray and such. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we aged beautifully. And but those friendships were still there. I was able to call upon them. They were there in 2 seconds. And we went and we filmed at the old in the old town, and went to my old high
Well,
school. And
share with us what the impactor is, because people don't know that that was a part of your life. So could you share that story?
yes, because I'm all about connections. In fact, my if you go to my website right there, Tamara L. Hunter, you'll see 3 words: healing through connections, because that's what I'm all about on a global level. And seriously all about that because of everything that I've been through. And so the connections were were a big part of the impactor, because to step back, right, let's see, yeah, right there is the Service Hero Show emblem. And I had started a nonprofit to deal with people that are affected by cancer and other life-changing health events.
And
And
what led you to start that non for profit?
because I was diagnosed with cancer when I was 54 years old, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. That's a chapter in my book, The Breast Cancer. I am now fully beyond that, totally great. However, I met a buddy during that process. And I mean, I lost my hair, I lost my voice, I lost, let's just say I've been rebuilt. And, yet I gained something I wasn't expecting, and that was a buddy. And our doctors and our nurses convinced us that we needed to take this to the world, because too many people are feeling isolated and alone and very fearful, very afraid. And that is so prevalent anywhere and everywhere. And it's not only just due to health. There are so many reasons people are feeling isolated, depressed, afraid, alone. And they, they, my doctor actually quoted a medical journal, the geek that I am, he got my attention. He knew how to. And he said, Tamara, we have a percentage to change lives, and you don't have to have a medical degree. You can help to change lives and have people live longer by providing connections, by providing community, by providing someone else. When, it's that whole, when someone's down and someone's up, when that person's up and they have the strength to bring the other up, that can change. That can change a day, that can change a life. And so started now, this nonprofit a few years back, like, what is it, about 7 years back? No, maybe about 5 or 6 years back now. And I thought it'd be so easy. Oh yeah, I've built businesses before on the professional side. And so I thought, okay, I got this. Didn't realize just how big, because I had the visions when I was a child of something huge. Remember this. I had the vision. I seen it. I thought, oh, finally, that's going to come to pass. All right. Well, this is a calling and it should go quickly. It should grow. Little did I know, oh no, it doesn't happen that fast. And so I was challenged basically, and I wrote about this, and it's coming out I have 3 articles coming out this next month. And one of the articles is all about this story. And I was challenged somewhere for 365 days of awesome. And it was to do 365 days of video content because I had virtually none. They said, here you want to build this thing and you have social media is where you're going to build this. However, going out there with people right between their eyes and saying, okay, if you're alone going through this, your odds of living 5 years or longer are be diminished. That's not going to be going over very well. So you got
Not
to
a real happy story to tell everybody.
no, I mean, that's the truth. However, it's like, okay, yeah, guys, you want to live longer? Let me tell you, have a friend. Or guess what? You're out of here. No, we got to change the dynamic. And so Service Heroes was born. Service Heroes became a show. Basically, I wouldn't call it a show for a couple of years, but it became my content. And I do things hard because I figure it will become easier the longer you do it. I didn't know how to go Facebook Live. And so it's like, okay, I did my first one 2 weeks before. I'll do Facebook Lives. Oh, that was comedic. It was comical. I started getting a following, I think, because they were taking bets. Gentlemen's bets, of course, no money involved, but bets. Will she ever be able to bring a guest on? Will she ever be able to pull this off? I don't know. And so I think people just started watching to see, okay, yeah, didn't happen today. Surprise, surprise, surprise. So finally, it started getting its own wings, and it gave a format, a place to share the message in an appropriate way. And people start joining the connection. And what is interesting here is such a time as this. Think about it. I did go out, and I usually would pay for it, but I knew I was supposed to go out face to face to groups. And I have no problem getting on stages. I have no problem doing anything. So I told people I would come scrub their toilet to get on their stage. And many times I did, trust me. But when you have a cause and a mission and it's bigger than you, you will do what you're meant to do. So when I had this challenge, little did I know it was going to be exactly at the right time to not only help to create the buzz for the mission, because Service Heroes was all about telling inspiring stories of those inspiring others. We all have a service hero inside. It's telling someone else's story, not my mission, not me, not, I am the host. Well, however, it started getting a following. What happened then is I was invited to be a part of a global race against time for people that felt that they had an impactful story or an impactful mission to make a difference in the world. And I had had it known that if anybody had a service hero, I should share their inspiring story to nominate them. And one of my nominated guests, the one I didn't know, little did I know until after the show had been completed, that it was one of the two founders of the Impactor, the next Impactor. And so he said, what do you do? And I told him, because he didn't know. I interviewed him. But when I told him, he's like, you should join. Well, it had already started. And it had started and it had been going on for a while. And you had to, you had to be number one, you had to get votes, all that kind of stuff. Well, I it took me a little while. I went, by then we had buddies, is what we call ourselves. We had buddies, and I had an ambassador buddy. And I went to the ambassador and I said, if I do this, it will give us much more of a we'll be much more visible. However, you'll have more work to do. And this is someone that was facing her own cancer story, stage 4, 2 different types, stage 4. And yet she was serving the world with me. And she said, no, honey, she had the sweetest voice, honey, you need to do this. We need to do this.
And the buddies
So
were called chemo buddies, right? Chemo buddies.
we call ourselves buddies. We don't use the word chemo much. And right
Okay.
now, yeah, that's the legal name, Chemo Buddies for Life, but we don't like to put the energy into that word.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
we go by our website is cb4l.org. We stay away from the word because we don't want to give it power. We kick it to the curb. The power of that word goes to the curb. Cancer,
Okay.
chemo, all of it. Kick it to the curb. So she convinced me to do this, and so I entered the race against time at the very back of the heap, over 200 people throughout global. And the bottom line is I won 9 months of a very grueling race against time. And what happened was, when you have a calling, when you have a mission, there's flow. And it might be that there's rocks involved, and there might be, mountains involved. Have the faith of a mustard seed. You can move the mountain, and in the flow of the water, think of it that way, will find its way. It's going to find its path. And if the flow is a calling, it's going to find its way to where the calling is going to be taken care of. And so, and sometimes we just, we have to have that faith of the mustard seed to be able to find our way with the calling. So I had that faith. And what ended up happening is, when I won that trophy, there she is, that's the Impactor right there. When I did, most of the people, many of the people that were in the top 25, some that were in the top 50, some that were in the whole 200, ended up joining me with the cause. And now some of them are the great, some of them have been on my board, some of them are my leaders, some of them, and no one is paid. No one is paid. We are 100% volunteer, and some put hours and hours and hours weekly in. And because they also saw the need. And so when you think about the miracle of it all, and this is going into a new year, and the connection story here is that no matter what you're born with, the bottom line is there can always find a way to achieve what the calling is. And yet we are promised not necessarily that it's going to be easy. There's books that we can read, and one of my heroes is Job, and I read it and read it and read it and reread it and read it, and I embrace it because, here, when his faith was tried and everything was, quote unquote, everything was taken away from him except for his life, and barely hanging on, boils in a
And
ditch. I
and his
mean, what
faith,
fun is that? Yeah,
his faith got him through. So to pause for just a
exactly.
moment, yeah, his faith got him through the thick and thin. And so, just for time frame, so that we can get a lot in today. So with Tamara having her childhood, graduating at 16, and just having a love for education and learning, and then now taking on the service heroes and becoming the great impactor that year. Behind her, I'd love for you to be able to share your love for writing and authoring and some of the materials that you're offering to the audience so that they know of it. So let's pause for that because of time so that we have enough time for you to get that in. And then we'll show your bio right after you do that so people know how to find you.
Okay. So, well, I would love to gift anybody that would like. We have what's called the service or the celebration journal, and I have PDF copies of it, and it's this right here. And you have to go. You can either find it on my website, Tamara L. Hunter, and then go to the CB for the Chemo Buddies. There's a logo. It's purple with two hearts on it. You can go there and you can find it that way, or you can go straight to the CB like Catboy, and then the number 4, and then L like Larry.org. And at the very bottom of the page, you just put it, just so we know you're not spam, that you just put your name and email address. I think only your first name even. And then we'll send you the PDF right away. And you can print it off as you want. And in it, it shares humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love. It helps you to get through some difficult times. It maybe asks you some leading questions. And how do you journal? So love to do that. And then, yeah, I'm always writing. And I'm going to be writing more. I have what these books are back here, and you can find out more on my website. My Big Dream Life workbooks. They're workbooks, and they're 90 days. And I achieve a lot because I actually am disciplined and I'm organized, and I block time. I believe in it. You can get a lot more done when you don't have distractions, because you basically, have times where you're not in communication, and there's other times where you are. And in this day and age, when we have so much coming at us, guys, time blocking will be your best friend. It really can be. And I'm in a number of books that I don't have any of my own yet. However, I'm in a lot of different, if you will, chapter books, and some of them I'm very, very, very proud of, and proud of all the things. But one really, there's two in particular that mean a lot to me, and they both went to bestsellers even. One is Mastering Our Mountains. That was a couple of years ago. It tells my story that kind of started this. And then recently it's, here they are, in fact. There's Here's Mastering Our Mountain, and then this is the newest one, the Global Achievers, and it's the power of vision, and it's about really the gift of, my chapter is more about the gift of vision, and how do you kind of help that seed to grow.
Mm-hmm. So let's pause right now and we'll put on the screen your bio so that it'll be in the video, embedded in the video. So if you can't remember how to reach out to Tamara, again, it's tamaralhunter.com. So Tamara, I know right now, we'll come back to the screen with you. I know right now that you're working on a special kind of project, and I know you on Christmas did some interviews. Do you want to talk about your passion on love? Oh,
Oh
we need
yeah,
this
absolutely.
love.
Yeah,
Good. I love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, please sing it. Sing it. Everybody tells me not to because I sing off key. Wink,
It
wink.
doesn't matter if we sing off key. If we have love, it doesn't matter. We can sing any way we want.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Yes. I am a part of a huge project, and it came out of the buddies originally. We did 36 hours live for the Tour of Love, and it was during the Giving Tuesday um, period, and it was so popular. In fact, here's an image of it, and it's back there too. The Tour of Love show came out of that. And I have a couple of shows on the E360 TV network. And one is currently Talk with, Let's Talk Fab Euless with Tamara. And so it's a series, a limited series, and it's in the same time slot that eventually Tour of Love second season is going to come back. And that is going to be amazing. Some of it is under wraps still. Yet, think of this. Think of the 60s, the fun, the healing property and the frequency of love, because love actually, the frequency of love actually heals, and it's been proven. It's used science, and yet when you can have entertainment, you can have comedy, you can have um, experts in certain fields, and you can bring that out to the world, to millions of screens. That's impactful. And there's more. We're going to be doing something that no one else has done. We've done, at least not that we've seen, and we've been checking it. And I've got people that have been involved in, that have Emmys. I've got people that have been in traditional TV. I've got big name people, all sorts of people that are coming together on this project. And so right now it's temporarily slated, that we are going to be going live with it in spring. That's the goal. But we're in pre-production right now, and oh, it's so exciting.
Well, now will
Basically
this
be
will this
ready.
will this will this tour be like a conference tour or a TV show that you'll watch on platforms? How will this be where people can
I'm
find
not.
you?
I won't. I'm not going to give all of it away. However, you
Okay,
can find the TV show on the network, the E360 TV network, which you can find on all the different apps and such, and e360.com. And and so, but there's more aspects to it, and we are not giving any more away than
okay,
the fact that
okay,
we have a show that second season per and the show, if you go back to first season, it's not going to look the same except for the image, the logo. Other
okay.
than that, it's not going to look the same.
Okay, good, good. Well, we're going to pause for just a moment from a word from a sponsor for AMG Broadcasting. It's a brand new sponsor called Holy Hydrogen, and it's an amazing Christ-centered company that is created. And I'm not that educated yet on hydrogen, but supposedly, and I don't know if you know this, Tamara, you can jump in. Supposedly, our bodies are comprised of water and hydrogen, and we need this in our cells. And our cells, like especially for those with disease, when disease sets in, the body heals. Cellular bodies, the cellular activities of your body heals through
Mhm.
hydrogen. And so, excuse me, this company has made a machine that has a chamber that you fill with water and you turn on the button and it converts it to hydrogen water that you can drink. Drinking hydrogen water has been proven and shown to reduce inflammation, cancer cells, lupus, autoimmune disease, arthritic conditions. It's amazing. I'd say God given way to heal the body. And so this machine, not only do you put the water in and drink it, but then it comes with small headphones that you put on your ears with a little nostril thing that you put into your nostrils while you're watching TV or reading a book or just even on the computer. You can put the nostril stuff, puts around your ears and breathe in hydrogen for 30 minutes a day and it rejuvenates the cells. It's an amazing product. So they just started with Axe Media. So you can go to holyhydrogen.com /Axe, ACTS. And when you go online, I just got an email this morning from them, Tamara, and they have a New Year's special for $200 off through January 1st on this machine. So please go to them today, holyhydrogen.com. Put in the promo code. You must put in the promo code ACTS, ACTS, and you'll receive $200 off. They also have a payment plan. So if you need to, you can make several payments and get this machine for better health. So I just thought that it's a phenomenal sponsor. And then the other thing that we'd like to mention, and we'll end with it at the very end. Axe Media is a non for profit, Christ centered organization, and we survive through our listeners. We need you, and we honor that you'll join us on our shows on all of our platforms. And we're coming to the end of the year, and our financial need for the end of the year, moving into 2023, is $20,000 budget. So if any of you at the end, it'll show you a link where you can send checks or you can pay online with PayPal. Any donation helps the ministry. $5, 10, 20, 100, 1,000, whatever is in your budget to keep Christian broadcasting on the air for all the different shows. So please go to the website at the end of the show and subscribe, and not subscribe, but donate today to keep shows like this on the air with amazing guests like Tamara. So, Tamara, we've got about 5 more minutes left. 35, yeah, five. Well, actually, 10. So we're down to 10, 6 last minutes. Share anything in 6 more minutes that will connect the audience more with transformation in their lives and hope, health, and healing as well.
What I'd like to share is this. We have a brand new year coming, and hope, health, and healing starts with you. It starts with you. And what is your core belief? Now, many that are watching this are most likely believers, or some may be just stumbling on. I'm not going to assume what your belief is because it's all about you. However, I would love for you to tap into your belief, whatever your belief system is, and then I want you to dig even deeper. And I want you to open up, however that is, to the possibilities and the reality of the mustard seed. I mentioned it. Mustard seed is so small, and if you don't know how small, go to the grocery store, buy some, look at it. You have the faith of a mustard seed. You can move a mountain, it's been said. However, going into 2023, what is your vision for yourself? And who do you know that I want to encourage you to connect with others. That healing property that was talked about, there's medical journals that say if you're alone, your odds of living 5 years or longer going through cancer have been diminished. Well, you don't have to be facing cancer for it to also apply to anything in your life. So what is it that you want to achieve? Write it down. I'm a big believer. Before I go live anywhere, I always make sure I have paper, I have a pen, I write things down. I write down everything because I
Well,
believe in that power.
my good friend Lotus Riche says, "Note takers are change makers."
Right, absolutely. And do you want to be a change maker? Love it. So connect with others. The hope of the healing. The mustard seed. Get a mustard seed, tape it on an index card, write what your vision is, and ask yourself, do you have the faith of the mustard seed to have that vision take place? Then I want you to go to your Rolodex, look and see how it will be a win-win-win for you to achieve connection with others. A win for you, a win for them, and a win for others. A win-win-win. And when you do that, then I want you to ask within yourself. And if you have the faith, ask also of what your belief system is for clarity in regards to it and a confirmation that you're on the right path. Because I will promise you this. If you do these steps and you honestly know, you believe, and then you know, baby step it, you can achieve that and so much more. And then if you want the final step, throw in a vision board. I'm a big believer in them. Whatever, they're easy to do. You can do it digital. You can do it, on cork boards, how I do it. You can do it on paper and put it in a frame. You can do it in any which way you want. Do it on your mirror in your bathroom with your mustard seed and your 3x5 card. And then do the work. Because that's where a lot of people fail.
I love that because the Lord gave me that tagline in the vision, it called "Inspiring Hope, Health, and Healing." And I said, God, can you explain more of why you gave me that tagline? Because it was definitely inspired by God. And He said, we can use the word hope, like I hope for a raise, I hope for a promotion, I hope for good health, I hope I'll get married, I'll hope, for children. I hope, I hope, I hope. But the vision I got from God was put your hope in me first. Put your
Mm.
hope in me. And then all these things will be given to you and added to you. So for me, I put my hope first and foremost in him. And then secondly, I asked him, so then he said health. And he said, so tell me about health. And in the Bible, it talks about our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit who resides and lives within us. And so for the Spirit to flow, provide good health in your body. And so that's what the vision I had, is to really look at 2023 with good nutrition, movement. You don't have to, exercise 2 hours a day, just movement of your body. If you sit at the computer, get up every 20 minutes and move for a few moments and get the lymphatic system going in your body. And then healing. Healing to me is healing of the mind so that you can be set free from anxiety, depression, feelings of not being good enough. So, healing of the mind. So, for 2023, we are inviting you to experience hope, health, and healing. What we're also going to invite you, everyone listening, is the vision of the Connection Gathering Show is to gather in community in person for those that live geographical to Springfield, Missouri. So beginning in February, the end of February, on a Sunday, it's going to be the second and I believe, fourth Sunday of every month, but we're going to start at the end of February because I'm going to Aruba in the beginning of February to get away. I'm doing a connection getaway to Aruba, and anyone that wants to join me can go to braveheartworkshops.com and look at the details and come with me for a connection getaway to Aruba. But for the rest of you, if you live locally, we're going to start in February on Sundays from 3:30 till 5 here at X Media, which you'll see the address at the very tail end on our closing commercial. So, and it's for women. Not being mean to men, but the connection gathering is to join women together in gathering for hope, health, and healing. So, Tamara, we love you so much and are so grateful that you joined us today on the Connection Gathering Show.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And I just want to wish everyone, whatever your belief is, happy holidays. And may this new year be your very best yet.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next Thursday.
Bye, everyone.
The Connection Gathering. Thanks for joining us, connecting unity in Christ through the Holy Spirit. AMG Broadcasting thanks you for being a faithful listener, supporter, and sponsor. Help to keep our programs on the air, support us, and donate today. To donate, please go to axmediagroup.com. Subscribe to our channels now and don't miss any episodes. The Axe Media AMG Broadcasting YouTube and Rumble channels are below. Please like our social media sites also.